What is an electric car and how does it work? Well, explained simply, electric cars or EVs are vehicles that use one or more electric motors to power their wheels. They can run on electricity stored in batteries or generated by fuel cells. Now, who invented the electric car technology and what country were they from? You're in for a fascinating journey back in time. Back in the 1800s, when fancy cars were just starting to take shape, several inventors were experimenting with electric vehicles. In the early 1830s to 1839, a pioneer of electric car technology was Robert Anderson from Scotland. He developed the first crude electric vehicle. Now, it wasn't anything super fancy, but more like a basic version of what we now call an electric car. It was a huge deal at the time. Fast forward to 1881, Gustave Trouve presented an electric car driven by an improved Siemens motor at the Paris International Exhibition of Electricity in 1881. All the way in England in 1884, Thomas Parker built the very first electric car that was ready for production. Then, just a few years later, in 1888, over in Germany, Andreas Flocken built what we can really call a proper electric car, one that looked more like the cars we see today. We can say that these inventive minds paved the road for the electric cars we're seeing more of today. What is the company that designed the first electric car? The first electric car company was named W.M. Morrison Limited, founded by William Morrison in Des Moines, Iowa in 1890. Electric cars were popular in the early 1900s, but they had some hurdles. They declined due to the high cost, low speed, and short range of batteries compared to ICE vehicles. However, electric cars have experienced a resurgence in recent years due to environmental concerns, technological innovations, and government incentives. Now there's two sides to every story, so here are some quick pros and cons. Since we did a whole video on that topic already, we'll quickly talk about 3 advantages of electric cars. Electric cars have several advantages over conventional cars. They produce zero tailpipe emissions, which reduces air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. They are more energy efficient, which lowers fuel costs and dependence on oil. And they are quieter, which improves the driving experience and reduces noise pollution. Now, what are some disadvantages of an electric car? Compared to conventional cars, electric cars have a few downsides too. They have a long recharge period. Electric cars can take quite a few hours to recharge depending on the battery and charging station. The initial cost. These cool electric rides can be a bit pricier up front compared to regular cars because of the battery and other components. They have limited charging station availability. While charging stations are popping up, they're not as widespread as gas stations, which can make it difficult to find a place to recharge in some areas. They have range issues, which means they can only travel a certain distance before needing to recharge. They have battery capacity and safety issues, which means they can lose performance over time or catch fire in rare cases. They can cause environmental degradation if the electricity used to charge them comes from fossil fuels or other unsustainable sources. It's like being eco-friendly on the surface but not really underneath. Some materials concerns. EVs rely on unsustainable power sources. If the materials used for batteries are scarce or come from unethical sources, it's like a not-so-great environmental footprint. How long will an electric battery last, and why? Electric batteries don't last forever. The lifespan of an electric battery depends on how often and how well it is used and maintained. Generally speaking, they'll give you about 8 to 10 years or 1,000 to 2,000 charge cycles before losing significant capacity or performance. The main factors that affect battery degradation are high temperatures, overcharging, undercharging, or deep discharging can speed up this process. With all that said, how far can an electric vehicle car go on a battery? The distance that an EV car can go on a battery depends on several factors like the battery size, the driving speed, the weather conditions, the terrain, and the use of accessories. The average range of an EV is about 200 miles, 322 kilometers, but some models can go up to 400 miles, 644 kilometers, or more on a single charge. Since we're on the disadvantages, what happens when your EV battery runs out? When the EV battery runs out, the car will stop running and need to be recharged. Depending on the type of EV, there may be some backup power sources that can extend the range slightly. For example, some plug-in hybrids can switch to using their ICE when the battery is depleted. However, most EVs will need to be towed or pushed to a charging station if they run out of battery. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell for more videos like this one. And at the same time, YouTube can recommend my videos to more people. Back to the video. Now, what is the biggest problem with electric cars? Well, the biggest reported problem with electric cars is actually a point that I touched on earlier in this video. It's the lack of charging infrastructure and standardization. Electric car owners may face challenges finding a compatible and convenient charging station in some areas or countries. Charging stations aren't always where you need them, and they can be occupied or out of order at crucial times. There may also be different types of plugs, voltages, or payment methods that can make charging complicated or costly. This adds to the EV range anxiety experienced by new electric car owners. This term refers to the worry that the car's battery might deplete before finding a charging spot. This can leave drivers concerned about their car's range. Think of it like driving around with very low fuel, searching for a gas station. As charging stations become more accessible, this anxiety can ease for EV owners. So, until charging spots become a common thing, this EV range anxiety might stick around for electric car drivers. What is the point of buying an electric car? The point of buying an electric car is mainly to enjoy the benefits of driving a vehicle that is more environmentally friendly, economical, and comfortable than a conventional car. Electric cars can also offer some incentives such as tax credits, rebates, discounts, or access to special lanes or parking spots in some regions. Electric cars versus hybrids explained as quickly as possible. All electric cars and hybrids each have their strong points. Electric cars win in terms of being cleaner, more efficient, and quieter. But hybrids have the edge in terms of cost, availability, and range. The best pick depends on your style and needs. What are the 5 best-selling all-electric cars of all times? Now, for the top 5 EVs that zoomed off the sales charts, at the time of recording this video, we have at number 5, with approximately 250,000 sales as it hits the road, the Tesla Model Y is already stirring things up as a recent addition. Now, number 4, the Tesla Model S cruises in with around 315,000 sales. It's like a luxury car that just happens to be electric, giving you that eco-friendly classiness. Rolling in at number 3, we've got the Renault Zoe with a cool 320,000 in sales. Think about it, over 300,000 people decided to go electric with Zoe. The Nissan Leaf's a close second with about 500,000 sales. That's like 500,000 folks who chose the Leaf to hit the electric road. The Tesla Model 3 takes the crown with a whopping 1.1 million sales. Imagine 1.1 million people zipping around in this sleek electric beauty. Now, what is the difference between BEVs, FCEVs, HEVs, PHEVs, and REEVs? Catch the next video to understand the many classifications of hybrid and electric vehicles. I do appreciate you watching, and I hope you learned something new with us today. If you want me to make more videos like this one, please like and comment, as any engagement helps this channel grow. Once again, I really appreciate your support. This was CarSimply.